Welcome to This Explainer. Let's jump right in, because today we're unpacking a truly groundbreaking original framework. We're going to explore the mechanics of human interaction through the lens of psychologist Dr. Gandhi Bhaskar Patrudu Lanka's brilliantly conceived relationship archetype method. If you've ever felt inexplicably pressured, guilty, or just trapped into acting a certain way around someone, whether that's at work, with a friend, or even in a spiritual setting, well, This Explainer is going to completely change how you see the world. We're diving straight into the source material, specifically the 2026 A4 edition of the Relationship Archetype Induction Manual, developed by psychologist Dr. Gandhi Bhaskar Patrudu Lanka. Now, this text serves as the fourth protective book in his original Relationship Archetype Form method. And it's crucial to note right off the bat that this is a masterclass manual intended for everyday communication hygiene, self-awareness, and boundary clarity. As Dr. Lanka explicitly points out, it is not psychotherapy or legal advice. Instead, it's an incredibly practical toolkit to preserve dignity in your everyday relational conduct. Okay, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the foundations of induction, move through ethics and induction channels, and then dive into authority patterns, emotional patterns, and distance patterns before wrapping it all up with the adult-centered defense.
All right, Section 1, Foundations of Induction, the silent invitation.
So the core idea here is just absolutely fascinating. Think about it. Every relationship role you or anyone else assumes has a sort of gravity to it. It silently pulls others into a complementary role. This is called relationship archetype induction. It's literally the process where a person's posture, or maybe the tone or speed of their voice, silently invites, pressures, or even traps you. Now, when a relationship is genuine, this invisible pull is completely healthy. A calm doctor helps a frightened patient. A responsible leader coordinates a team. That's relational alignment. But when the role is false, man, it becomes a dangerous, coercive manipulation. Imagine a peer acting like your boss just to force you into submission, or playing helpless to force you to rescue them.
Which brings us to this absolutely crucial master rule invented by Dr. Gandhi Bhaskar Patrudu Lanka. Quote, "Never accept a role merely because another person performs its opposite." End quote. Listen, just because someone puts on this whole theater of being a dominant boss doesn't mean you automatically have to shrink into a submissive subordinate. Just because they play the helpless victim doesn't mean you are suddenly responsible for rescuing them. You hold the power here.
Moving on to Section 2, Ethics and Induction Channels.
So you might be wondering, how do we objectively measure if a role is being used to help us or trap us? Well, Dr. Gandhi Bhaskar Patrudu Lanka provides a razor-sharp test for exactly this. Ethical induction relies on truth. The role is real. It keeps your free consent, preserves everyone's dignity, respects actual hierarchy, and clarifies the relationship. And importantly, it permits a respectful no. Manipulative role capture is, well, it's the exact opposite. It exaggerates roles theatrically. It pressures you with fear, guilt, or urgency. It lowers or infantilizes you, creates fake hierarchies to bypass the rules, and deliberately confuses the relationship so the manipulator can profit. And if you try to refuse, it's treated as a betrayal or a reason to punish you. And these tactics are usually deployed through 5 specific channels of induction. Think about voice. A firm, calm voice during an emergency. That's ethical leadership. But a commanding bark from a peer, that's false subordination. Then there's posture. A teacher standing clearly to guide is ethical, but someone physically collapsing to force a rescue is manipulative. Language is another big one. Asking for guidance versus laying on the guilt with, "If you cared, you would obey me." Context can be weaponized too, like using public shaming to force you into obedient silence. And finally, emotional pressure. Sincere gratitude is ethical, sure, but showering you with excessive praise just to extract special favors, that is manipulation, plain and simple.
Section 3, Authority and Professional Patterns.
Now we're getting into Dr. Lanka's breakdown of the 14 major relationship archetypes, starting with roles of power. Let's look at the dominant boss. Ethically, a command voice makes sense for legitimate, urgent coordination. But manipulatively? Picture someone with zero actual authority doing dominance theater to force your compliance. Your specific defense here is to step into the calm, adult boundary keeper mode and ask, "In what capacity are you instructing me?" To fix this dynamic, the repair protocol requires reestablishing mutual professional respect by clearly defining your actual roles. Next, consider the teacher. Ethically, it increases your competence. Manipulatively, imagine a peer giving you an unprompted, status-lowering lecture. Your defense is to ask, "Are you giving me feedback or trying to instruct me?" The repair protocol shifts it away from condescension and back to peer-level feedback. Then there's the expert. Ethically, they simplify complexity for you. Manipulatively, they use heavy jargon intimidation to block your questions. Defense? Become a curious adult learner. Say, please explain the basis and show the evidence. The repair protocol here involves returning to accessible language and shared understanding.
Continuing with authority patterns, let's talk about bureaucratic authority. Ethically, this protects fairness and consistency. Manipulatively, it turns into personal gatekeeping. Someone hinting, without me, your file won't move. The defense is to return power to written procedures. Please mention the rule or circular. That repairs things by restoring strict procedural transparency. The public speaker archetype ethically inspires a crowd, but manipulatively uses group laughter or sarcasm for social domination. You defend yourself by returning to the agenda and refusing to engage with public personal remarks. The repair protocol requires shifting from public domination back to respectful, issue-focused dialogue. Finally, the spiritual or psychological guide. Ethically, they increase your own discrimination and freedom. Manipulatively, they might label your valid disagreement as ego to force your surrender. The defense is to respect wisdom without ever surrendering your adult discernment. And the repair protocol demands restoring the individual's intellectual and spiritual autonomy.
Moving right along to Section 4, Emotional and Care Patterns.
Let's see how all this builds into emotional dynamics. The induction pull here is often incredibly tricky because it's disguised as vulnerability or affection. Take the helpless victim. Ethically, this is just a clear, bounded request for help. But manipulatively, they might use emotional coercion, hinting, if you don't help, everything will fail. Your defense? Adopt a compassionate boundary keeper role. Offer limited help without taking over completely by asking, what steps have you already tried? The repair protocol here involves shifting the dynamic from total rescue back to supported independence. The parent or caregiver ethically supports you during overwhelm, but manipulatively uses control disguised as care. You accept their concern, but state firmly, I will decide. This restores pure adulthood. And what about the friend archetype? Ethically, it creates genuine warmth, but manipulatively, someone might try to bypass professional boundaries to extract secrets or favors. Your defense preserves respect without surrendering privacy. Friendship does not require me to share everything. To repair this, you must separate personal warmth from professional or private obligations.
Next, we have the devoted learner. Ethically, sincere respect invites genuine mentorship. Manipulatively, it degrades into flattery designed to get special access, with lines like, only you understand me. The mentor has to enter the kind teacher defense and enforce fairness. The repair protocol demands enforcing objective fairness over any favoritism. For the healer or doctor archetype, ethical use relies on clinical authority that reduces fear and obtains informed consent. The manipulative shadow happens when they silence a patient's questions and create a forced dependency. The defense here is absolutely crucial. I respect your expertise, but I need to understand the options. The repair protocol here is non-negotiable. It completely involves reestablishing informed mutual consent and patient autonomy.
Section 5. Distance, Boundary, and Moral Patterns.
These next archetypes use space, silence, or morality as really powerful tools of relational pressure. The judge or moral superior ethically brings necessary accountability, but manipulatively it becomes a devastating guilt capture. A good person would never question me. You've got to separate facts from blame and refuse that generalized guilt. The repair protocol requires returning to specific factual accountability rather than generalized shame. The boundary keeper ethically protects time and dignity. Manipulatively, it's used to shame you or make you literally beg for access. You must defend yourself by accepting the distance but refusing the contempt. The repair protocol means neutralizing that contempt and communicating respectfully across the distance. Finally, the silent witness. Ethically, silence de-escalates conflict, but its toxic shadow is punitive emotional starvation, deliberately ignoring messages to make you anxious and compliant. The defense is to offer one clear channel and stop chasing them indefinitely. The repair protocol involves a commitment to clear, bounded communication instead of punitive ignoring.
And finally, Section 6. The Adult-Centered Defense.
All right, having completely mapped out Dr. Lanka's complex archetypes, we arrive at the ultimate psychological defense strategy developed in the method. Without this adult center, one role automatically activates its opposite. A bossy tone creates obedience. Flattery creates favoritism. Empowering yourself requires constantly turning these 4 protective reflection questions inward. 1. What role am I performing? Name it. 2. What role am I inviting the other person? 3. Can the other person refuse? Because if refusal brings humiliation, it's coercion. 4. What should I do if pressured? You return to the adult center, clarify roles, set a boundary, and document it if needed.
This brings us to the central defensive sentence of psychologist Dr. Gandhi Bhaskar Pathrudulanka's entire book. And honestly, this is something you should burn into your memory right now. I remain adult. I do not automatically accept the role offered to me. This powerfully reminds you that you and only you hold the final uncompromising authority over your own relational roles. No one can trap you without your subconscious compliance. So I want to leave you with this final provocative question to think about as you go about your day. Which silent role are you going to stop accepting today? Are you going to stop rescuing the eternal victim? Are you going to stop being the submissive junior to a peer who just uses a loud voice? I challenge you to immediately apply psychologist Dr. Gandhi Bhaskar Pathrudulanka's brilliant method in your very next interaction and regain your autonomy. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and stay curious.